Hello, and welcome back to the Top 100 Horror Movie Review Series. I'm going based off of the Top 100 Horror Movies as chosen by Fangoria readers. I have the scratch-off poster. I'm not sponsored by Fangoria. I just think it's a cool poster, so if you like horror movies or you want to get into horror movies, maybe if you have a friend that likes horror movies, I highly recommend getting it. It's very educational, I suppose. Definitely expands my watching movies. So today's movie, number 20, is Get Out from 2017. So the basic spoiler-free story is an African-American man visits his girlfriend's super whitewashed yet not racist family. So yeah, that was just the basic premise. I will be getting into spoilers, so consider this your spoiler warning. Cool. So, a basic summary of the movie. So, it starts with a guy just walking down the street of a neighborhood, and then he gets kidnapped. Not entirely sure what that has to do with the whole story. It might be a person later on, I just didn't notice, but... So then the main character, Chris, goes with his girlfriend to her parents' house to, meet her parents. And they're, pretty chill. And then the dad brings up, oh yeah, we're gonna have family over tomorrow or whenever. Because, this is what we do, same day of every year to celebrate my father's something. I don't remember. And so, next day comes... Oh, right, and, this family has a couple of African-American servants, and he's like, okay, I know it looks weird. There's... we're a white family, a rich white family, and we have these black servants. But trust me, I would have voted for Obama a third time. You know. So yes, they are not racist. So that night, there's a lot in this movie. I'm just realizing because I'm not even a half hour through, and I'm still remembering oh yeah, this is set up, and this is set up, and this is set up. So, the mom is a therapist, and so Chris smokes, and the dad is like, oh, you smoke? Oh, that's an awful habit. I used to smoke, but now, even just thinking of having a cigarette makes me want to, throw up, because, so my wife is a psychiatrist, and she hypnotized me. And, you hear all this stuff about hypnotism and everything, but it actually worked, really well. And then Chris is like, nah, I'm good. So then that night, he goes out to have a cigarette, and one of the servants starts rushing at him, and I feel like it's pretty famous scene. Because, I had seen it before, where the servant is, rushing at him, and then just, passes right by him, turns, as soon as he gets to him. And so Chris goes back inside the house, and this is, late at night, everyone's asleep. But the mom is in her office, and she's like, hey, Chris, wanna come, sit down? And then she hypnotizes him. And then he has this tragic backstory, and then he wakes up and is like, hey, Rose is the girlfriend. I had this really weird dream last night, this weird stuff happened. And then he goes out to meet the servant that rushed at him last night. Servant's like, oh, I'm so sorry about last night. And that's when Chris realizes, oh, it wasn't a dream. And all of the black people are acting weird, this might sound bad coming from me, but all of the black people were acting white. It is the intended view of like this movie. And so Chris is like, they're acting weird, like they're not acting, like black people. And so the family comes, like the entire like extended family comes, and he sees, oh, there's a black guy over there. Oh, well that's nice. It's always nice to have, he, talking from his perspective, like, oh yeah, I feel really uncomfortable when there's like a lot of white people and like no black people. So it's nice to see another black person. And then the black person is like, oh yes, oh, I full-heartedly agree. It's very comforting to have another African American here as well, in the widest way possible. And so Chris is like, oh, not you too. And so he's like, this is weird. And so he goes upstairs to call his friend who's taking care of his dog. And he's like, hey, this is kind of weird. Like, there are, like, a couple black people here, but they're not normal. Like, they're acting weird. And the friend's like, yeah, that is weird. I don't remember what the point of that phone call was. I think just to, like, convey to him, like, hey, this is weird. Oh, right, because he was also talking about, like, his hypnotism. Like, oh, yeah, she hypnotized me last night. And the friend is like, dude, that's crazy. Like, that's scary. Like, I would never let anyone do that to me. Because, like, you know what they do to people, like, when they're hypnotized? No, you don't, because you're hypnotized, obviously. So you have no idea what they're doing to you. They could be doing anything to you. And so Chris goes back downstairs to the family, and so the family is all like circled around him, and the dad's like, oh, I want you to meet like this and this and this and this, and there's like a bunch of names, and he's like, oh, thanks, that's really nice. Then one of the people asks, so what's like been some of your trouble growing up, like African American in America in this modern day? And then Chris is like, oh, well, it's kind of hard, but like I'm not the only black person here. Like that guy over there, his name is Logan or Andre, but they call him Logan. Logan's black as well. He could probably lend some insight. And Logan's like, yeah, it's been a pretty easy, I guess. I mean, I mostly stay inside the house nowadays. And then Chris takes his phone out and like tries to like subtly take a picture, but the flash is on, and so it makes like the loud like camera, like the sound, and the flash goes off, and Logan seems to like snap out of a trance, sort of, and then rushes to Chris and is like, get out, you need to get out, hence get out. And then they take him inside, and then like a few minutes later, like, oh, sorry about that. He has epilepsy, so the Flash kind of gave him a seizure, and like he wasn't himself. And then Chris is like, yeah, hey Rose, can we like take a walk? And she's like, yeah. And so he starts talking to her like, hey, this is weird. Your mom hypnotized me, and I have an epileptic cousin, and that wasn't epilepsy. Logan's acting weird. And Rose is like, okay, I understand where you're coming from. If you feel uncomfortable, we can leave. And he's like, yeah, we should leave. Meanwhile, back at the house, the family is auctioning off Chris. They have like a picture of Chris up, and it's like a silent auction. So the dad's like, and then eventually 10, I assume like 10,000 or something, and then points to a guy in the back and sold. So that happened. And the guy he was sold to was blind. And Chris is a photographer, and the blind guy is a art distributor, I think? Or like, yeah, I think an art distributor. And so he wins the auction, and then Chris and Rose come back to the house, and they're like packing up, and then Chris notices that there's like a closet that's opened that was closed before. And so he looks inside and he sees this like red shoebox. He opens it up and he's looking through pictures, and it's Logan and the groundskeeper and the housemaid, all with Rose. And so he's now suspicious of Rose, so he's like, hey, can I have the car keys? I'm just gonna go put our bags in the trunk. And she's like, okay, yeah, sorry, it's just taking a while to find them. And so they go downstairs, and he's like, hey, Rose, how's it going with those keys? And she's like, I'm still looking, I can't find them. And then the family is like, so, you probably caught on at this point, you're not gonna leave. And then Rose is like, and then Chris is like, Rose, keys, now! And Rose is like, okay, yeah, keys, you already know I'm not gonna give them to you. And so they lock him in the basement and hypnotize him, and it's explained through like a videotape. Like, the family has been bringing in black people and doing surgery on them and replacing their brains with the family's brains. So basically, taking over their body through hypnotism and a surgery. So the hypnotism sort of like sends them down into sort of like a trance state to where they're there, but they're not in control of their bodies. So they're sent to that trance state permanently, and then surgery is done to make the person who bought them at the auction in control of their bodies. And he's like, well, why are you doing this? And then it's explained, like, well, racism! So, very racist movie. Their whole explanation is because black people are more athletic and stronger, basically, like physically stronger and physically or genetically better, at least physically. Like, genetically, their potential is higher. And so the art guy who bought him explains, like, listen, I really just wanted you for your eyes so that I could see the world the way you see the world, because, like, people explain your photography to me and it sounds beautiful, so you really have an eye for photography and I can't see, so I'm taking your eyes and the rest of your body. And so he has this sort of nervous thing where he like picks at the edge of an armchair because of his tragic backstory. And so the armchair is leather, and so he was like picking at it while he was hypnotized and like pulling up the leather and pulling out like cotton and wool. And so when the surgery starts, the brother, I don't think I explained about the brother, but the brother's also racist and is like them. And so the brother comes in to collect him after he got put back into the trance state. So his brother comes to collect him, unbinds the restraints, and is like checking something on the wheelchair that he was putting him in to get him there, and then Chris grabs a bocce ball and knocks him out with it. And then there's like a elk taxidermied on the wall. He takes that and takes it to the surgical room, and stabs the dad with it. And then the dad knocks over a candle and then sets the house on fire, and then the mom gets killed, and then the brother gets fully killed, and then the girlfriend rushes out with a shotgun, and then he grabs the brother's keys and takes off in his car and hits the housemaid on the way there, and then loses control of the car, crashes into a tree, and so the girlfriend comes out with the shotgun and is like, "Finish him, Grandpa." And so the groundskeeper runs over to him and starts like grabbing his skull, but then Chris takes out his phone and uses the flash to bring him back. And so the groundskeeper is like, "Let me do it, Rose." And then he takes the shotgun, blasts her in the stomach, and then shoots himself in the head. And then Chris goes over to Rose and starts like choking her out, and then stops. And then the friend, who's been doing research throughout this entire movie, finding the disappearance, and he found out that Logan, whose real name is Andre, had been missing for like 6 months or whatever. And so he went to the house and finds Chris, and then he gets Chris back at the car and lets Rose bleed out, and they drive off, and that's the end of the movie. So the survival tip from this movie is don't be black. The survival tip for the movie is if your girlfriend's family is giving you bad vibes, you should get out. Get it like the name of the movie. So the cinematography was really good. Jordan Peele as director, I think this was his first movie, did a really good job. The writing was really good, acting was really good, effects were really good. So yeah, everything was good about this movie. I didn't have anything bad to say about it. Content warnings, there are... Goodness, that's a lot of tally marks. Just for context. There are, let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. I counted 50 F words in this movie, which is far and beyond more. I think twice the most that has been, which was Scream. Scream had 27, I believe. Let's see. Scream was number 8. Here. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 27. Yeah, so this had double the amount of F words that Scream did. So there was a lot of language. And then, so in our videos, the editor has been putting in a gore line.
The motherfucking gore line.
So sort of like a 0 to 100% for amount of gore, to where 0 is Halloween and 100 is Evil Dead. So I would put this at like a 40, maybe a 35, because most of the movie was just like tension building, and it did a really good job at that. So yeah, this movie did a really good job at tension building, but in the last 15 minutes, it had a lot of gore. Like, the first hour and a half of this movie, like, there was no gore, like, at all. Like, just tension building. And then the last 15 minutes, there was quite a bit of gore. So yeah, I would put this at like a 40 on the gore line. This could potentially make a good first horror movie, because there's like no nudity in it, but like if you are like sensitive to language, then probably not. But as far as, like, violence and gore, I would say anywhere below, like, a 50, maybe like a 60% on the gore line would be, like, yeah, you probably wouldn't be too disturbed if you hadn't seen a horror movie before. And there's, like, no nudity in it. So I think this could make a good first horror movie. So yeah, I gave this a 10 out of 10. I thought it was really good. And I put it at number 9 in my personal rankings. The full list will be in the description, but number 9 is below Texas Chainsaw Massacre and above Hereditary. Just barely above Hereditary. Even though I'm aware I wasn't the target demographic exactly. But yeah, so I will now do the scratch-off poster, but that's all for the review section. So yeah, see you in the next one. Okay, today we are scratching off Get Out, but real quick, I'm going to run through the past 19 movies. So, we have Halloween 1978, Thing 1982, Exorcist 1973, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1974, Nightmare on Elm Street 1984, Alien 1979, Shining 1980, Scream 1996, Night of the Living Dead 1968, Jaws 1975, Evil Dead 1981, Psycho 1960, Hereditary 2018, Hellraiser 1987, Suspiria 1976, American Werewolf in London 1981, Rosemary's Baby 1968, Black Christmas 1974, Re-Animator 1985, and now we have Get Out from 2017. So we have the title, and we have Chris in the center. Okay, so yeah, now we have title, Chris, and now we have Chris's face. That is from a very famous shot of the movie where he has the tears streaming down his face. And it looks like we have the house on fire in the background. So yeah, that is the end of the video. We are 20 movies in, so that is a fifth of the way done. Next movie will be Dawn of the Dead. But yeah, thanks for watching.